Hello and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today we are going to be seeing how many granny squares I can make in a day. These specific granny squares I'm going to be making are for the Persian tiles blanket. I have started making some of the tiles for this blanket. Not a lot, but some. The colours I'm using are from a specific colorway that someone else made. They shared a chart for this. You can probably see it in the reflection of my glasses. It's by Ali Bobless. It's 3 colors. It is claret, black, and cream. These 3 colors, and this is the result. I really love how this looks. It is gorgeous, which is what has drawn me to it. I bought enough to make the size that they made, because that's what I based my numbers off of for these. I based it off of meters, not grams. So this, looking at the pictures, they made a 4x4. I think I'm also going to make a 4x4, as that is what I bought the numbers for. So they do have a chart that they made of what colors they used for which rounds, which is the graph you can see in my lenses. They also have a custom border that they made for this that I will also be following, which they also have a chart for. I will link their Ravelry project if I can. I don't know how you go about doing that, but I will try to do that so that you can find those for yourselves. But today we are going to be making the small squares that go into the blanket. And if we finish all of those, seeing as there's only 9, we will move on to the triangles. As these don't look that difficult, so it should be pretty fast. It's currently 8:15. I will be taking breaks in between because I do have some stuff that needs to get done today, but that will just be done in between, because that gives me a chance to have a break to rest my wrists and my hands, which you need to do. Yeah, that's everything. Let's get started. square done. This took 37 minutes, so I can probably make 2, then have a break, make 2, have a break. I tend to usually prefer to go for an hour, but this being just over 37 minutes, I think making 2 each time should be fine in between a break. I did mess up one row, this red one, row 3. These center double crochets are supposed to have 4 double crochets, not 3, but I don't think it should make too much of a difference. So I think I'm just going to stick with the 3 because it doesn't affect the stitch count at the end or anything. It just, yeah, just to make it a teensy bit easier for myself. Also, I forgot to mention I'm using a 4mm hook. This is the one that came from my Blueballs kit. You can't really read that, can you? Nope. But it's the one that came from that. And I've also made 3 of these already as a break from in between knitting projects. So I have 3 of these. And I've also realized I'm going to need to make more than 9 squares for the 4x4 because the pattern is for the 3x3, which means I'm going to need more than 9 of these squares, right? No? On the photo it's also 9. Did I misread how many tiles I need to make? Yes, I did. I need 16 tiles. Awesome. Alright, so still only need 9 of these. I just can't read numbers, apparently. But yeah, this still looks so pretty. I genuinely love this color palette for this so much. So let's continue so I can fucking have this blanket, shall we? So 9 squares, about the most I can crochet in a day with breaks is like 6 hours. So 2 every hour. I should finish the squares and still have time to maybe make a start on the triangles. And by that I mean maybe like 1 or 2. But I mean, it's a start. So let's keep going. 3 squares so far. I'm now on the 4th square. I did take a break between the second and third. It's now like 11:03. Once I finish this square, I'm most likely going to get lunch, and that will be my second break for today. And I've done the things that I needed to get done during the first break, shockingly, because they weren't as bad as I thought they were going to be. So that works, I guess, for me. It means on one of my other breaks that I can maybe play a game instead, which would be nice. For some of my recent breaks, between knitting and stuff, I've been back to playing Minecraft. I'm trying to take it slow while working on while playing it, because sometimes I rush and that's what makes me lose interest in it. So, trying to take it slow and enjoy the game again, essentially. So, I think that's a plan. After this, take a break, have lunch, make squares 5 and 6, and then play Minecraft for a bit. Or maybe Thrifty Business. I haven't played that in a couple weeks. I really enjoy the game. It's nice and relaxing. But I think maybe I'll want something a bit more interesting or fast-paced than that, just to keep my brain interested. Because if I wanted something relaxing, I'd just continue crocheting. So maybe just play Minecraft, I think. Yeah, just thought I'd give a quick update on the actual numbers and the time, so that you could keep track, I guess. Yep, that's the plan. my Minecraft break, which would be break number 3. So I've done 6 squares, which means I have 3 left of the squares. So I think I'm just gonna do all 3 and then maybe take another break and then move on to the triangles. I'm gonna do them 1 row at a time, except for the red, since that's 2 rows. I'm just gonna do the 2 rows there. So I'm gonna do it 1 row at a time for all 3 and sort of production line it, I guess. I just think it'd be easier than doing 1 at a time, because it is getting a bit too repetitive for my brain. Like, I feel like I'm doing too many of them. It's starting to get a bit boring. So we're gonna production line it and do 1 row at a time. I may do the last 3 rows of the border at once per square. Like, do all 3 at once, and not, because it's a little bit of a waste to cut the yarn off just when it's literally right there. So the border I'll count as 1 row per se. But yeah, that's the plan. That's what we're gonna do. It's currently 2:19. I don't remember how long my Minecraft break was. I don't think it was too long, but I had a break. That's all it needs to be. It was at least 30 minutes, I believe, so it's fine. We have 9 squares done. It's now 4:25, so we still have time in the day. So I'm going to make the small triangles, because there's only 4 of those. I feel like we can easily get that done. And then, if we still have time, which I don't think we will, I don't know, I may start the large triangles. Though I don't know if I'm going to want to call it after the small ones or not though, because I've been crocheting for like 4.5 hours at this point. 6 is the max that my wrist can go for without starting to hurt. So depending on how long the small triangles take, we might just call it after those, just for the sake of my hands. We shall see. Yeah, let's move on to those. Okay, triangles are done, or full. They were super annoying. You have to cut off every row for the thing, so you're left with 7 ends, which after the first one, I was not doing that, so I just started turning and hoping for the best that it looked fine, and I think they look alright. You can't really tell too much of a difference, so I don't care. And they're going to be on like completely opposite ends of, like, they're not going to be beside each other because they are the corners, so I don't think it matters. So I think they're fine. They also took so much longer than you would think, considering how small they are. It's now 5:53. Literally just turned 5:53. My total crochet time is 5 hours and 45 minutes. I don't think I can complete a large triangle before I reach 6 hours, which is the maximum that my wrist can handle. So I am going to call it here. So we've completed 2 sections of the blanket, of the pattern, which is 9 squares and 4 triangles, which is 13 different pieces. I am really happy with our progress. I did not think I was going to completely finish the one of the triangles, like one section of the triangles. So I would say that's pretty good. That just leaves me 9 of the tiles and 12 of the big triangles to make, and then joining in the border, but that's not a lot for me. Joining isn't horrible, I don't mind it. And a border, the border on the pattern, the border that the person made, the one that I'm using for the colorway, isn't that hard, I don't think. It doesn't look it. So I think I'm going to continue working on this in the next video, and maybe one more after that, because I don't think I want to make 9 tiles in a week. That's not happening, but in the next video we can make some more progress. That's what I'm thinking. I do really like that idea, because I would really love this blanket to be done, especially since it's getting fucking cold here in Australia. I need more blankets on my bed. I have like 10 and I'm still freezing. It's not actually 10, I'm exaggerating, but I think it's pretty close. No, I was actually saying a lesser number. I have like 11 blankets on my bed. And I'm still not fully warm at night sometimes. Great. But yeah, we are done. 5 hours, 45 minutes. I do not have yarn usage for those ones specifically, but especially since I'm just basing the whole blanket measurement yarn usage on the blanket. But this was closer to being full when we started, and that one's very close to being done. And then this is also quite loose now. So we're done. Thanks for watching. Bye.